All these videos out here telling you, oh, you've got to ask for an attorney. You need to request an attorney. I'm going to answer the important question. When do you do this? Timing is everything, folks. When do you do this? In general, when you get an attorney involved, we are going to de-escalate the situation, possibly get rid of the situation, and certainly minimize all the collateral damage that we're going to talk about that happens to so many people that don't have an attorney involved early on. So when do you get an attorney? Let's walk you through all the steps of when you're going to get an attorney. Because number one, some of you out there were contacted by law enforcement. They could have given you a phone call, which I think could be a scam, quite frankly. They might have caught you at work. They might have caught you at your home. Hey, we just have a couple questions for you. We just want to get your side of story. We just want to clarify a few things. Do you know those 3 questions? That is a trap. You do not need to fall into that trap. When you hear those words, we just need some clarification. We just want to get your side of the story. Oh my Lord. So many bad things happen after you start answering that question because you cannot talk your way out of it. You cannot convince this officer not to do what they've already decided to do. What you can do is what we're talking about today. Now is the time to get an attorney. Do you know constitutionally, when you are asked those questions, you get to have an attorney at that point? And tell the officer that. Thank you, officer. I appreciate you coming by today. I appreciate you calling today. I need to talk to an attorney, and then I'll get back to you. I need my attorney here before I answer any questions, and then I'll get back to you. I don't want anything wishy-washy either. I don't want you asking them, do you think I need an attorney? Do you think this is a good time for me to get an attorney? Don't ever ask that question, because then they're going to keep asking you the questions. They're going to kill your case later. What you need to do is what I suggest, which is immediately demand an attorney. That's your first hint in life that you better get an attorney involved, folks, okay? The second time is pretty common, pretty basic, is they're not going to be friendly with you. They're not going to be asking you, we want your side of the story on a little clarification on some things. They're just going to arrest you, or they're going to detain you. That age-old question I encourage you to ask, am I free to leave? If they say, no, you're not free to leave, I am telling you that your next statement is going to be, I want an attorney. I'm not going to say anything. If I'm not free to leave, I want an attorney sitting right next to me, and then we can have this conversation. Now, the cop might be, well, then I'm going to have to take you to jail for exercising your constitutional right. Folks, if you are not free to leave, that is your clue to ask and demand an attorney, to speak to an attorney, to have an attorney, all those things right then and there. That's your second clue, okay? And your third clue is similar to all that. Your third clue is sometimes the police might want you in some sort of lineup. They might want you to sit in some sort of room, right? And be questioned. How many Netflix series have we seen, folks? 1 million? I like crime docs. I know you like crime docs. How many times have you seen that person sitting alone and then a cop or a detective sitting in that room? Maybe a couple of them. And guess what? That little documentary didn't go well for that person sitting in the room, did it? It never goes well if you are not with an attorney. So you must, at that point, am I free to leave? Even if you are, I don't care if you're free to leave or not. If you're going to be sitting in that little room, are you going to be part of a photo lineup that they want you to be in right then and there? You're going to say, no, I would like my attorney here first. I want to call an attorney. I want an attorney here. And then we can talk about this once I've talked to an attorney. You must do that. So I know that you think that it could be innocent. I know you didn't do anything wrong and all those things, but I don't trust the government. You shouldn't trust the government. You need to have somebody on your side. We're like little legal bodyguards to protect you because the government's not protecting you at all. So keep that in mind. The fourth time you're going to need to ask for an attorney is sometimes you don't get any warning. Sometimes the cop doesn't knock on your door. They don't call you. They don't bring you in the little room. You just, out of the clear blue, get pulled over for speeding and you're arrested, right? At that point, you definitely need to get an attorney, not say anything until you have an attorney. Once again, you are going to ask, I would like a lawyer present. I want my lawyer, things of that sort, because they're going to ask you some questions. They might even at that point read you your Miranda rights. I don't care whether they read them to you or not. You still get to say the magic words, which is, I would like my attorney present before I answer any questions. Now, I will tell you this, when you get to that point where you're arrested and now you're at first appearance or you're at your arraignment in front of the judge. I will say this, the public defenders are really good at being in the courtroom right then and there and preventing people from screwing themselves. So hats off to the public defenders that are chilling in that courtroom, and they will stand at that podium next to you, or sometimes they'll even say a few words to you before you go to the podium, which will help protect your rights. PDs are like a vital part of the system because I've seen them protect so many people's rights before they even have a chance to hire an attorney. So that's really good. But if you don't have somebody standing at the podium, just say, I would like to consult a lawyer before I say anything about this case. I want a lawyer, I'm gonna hire a lawyer, and things are going to go better for you, trust me. The fifth thing I wanna tell you about when you should get a lawyer, when you need to ask for a lawyer, is when you sense that a warrant is out for your arrest, because for some reason you all out there have a pretty good idea of when there's a warrant out. I've talked to many of you and you're like, I think there's a warrant out, and I check and you're right, there is a warrant out. So you need to get an attorney involved the moment you sense that there is a warrant out. Now, there are several reasons for this. I'll tell you, the main one is that when there's a warrant out for your arrest and you know that there's a warrant out for your arrest, trust me when I say the government may try to arrest you at a time when A, they can search your car and search everyone around because they've got, you know, a situation with a warrant, but B, they will try to embarrass you and wreck whatever it is you're doing. I have several examples over the 30 plus years I've been defending criminal cases, but I had a client, a college student at one of the big universities here, you know what I'm saying, hire me after he got arrested. Now, he knew that there was a warrant out for his arrest for about a month, but he was studying for finals, getting some stuff together, and guess what happened? The university, during finals, with everybody else around, with the professor around, and with the PAs around, several cops stormed into the classroom, disrupted the final, and arrested my client while he was taking his final, within 5-10 minutes of taking the final. They knew they were gonna do that the whole time. They knew it the whole time. If he had hired me when he first knew that the warrant was out, that would not have happened, okay? Because we have ways around having the cops show up at your finals. I had another client recently and he hired me after his arrest, but basically he works and has worked for like 9 years at a big company. There's 40, 50 people there at the office. He's well respected until the cops came with several guns drawn and arrested him on a warrant right there while he was working. There was no reason for that. They didn't have to do it. It was a non-violent, minuscule felony, borderline misdemeanor, and yet they wanted to embarrass him, and they did embarrass him. They wanted to get him fired. They did get him fired. Folks, if we know there's a warrant out for your arrest, sometimes we can go to the judge and request a manipulation of the bond and a lowering of the bond or the terms or what have you. Some judges won't do that. Some judges will. We can do all sorts of things so that you don't get arrested at work, so that you don't get arrested during your finals. So the idea of asking and getting an attorney involved is for your protection. It's for the protection of your case and your entire situation. Please understand that the sooner you get us involved, the better things are going to go for you. The sooner you get an attorney, the better things will be for you. So just keep that in mind. Of course, I do these sorts of things in Central Florida, Orange County, Seminole County, Osceola County, Brevard County, Lake County, Volusia County. I'd love to help you out if you happen to be in trouble in my neck of the woods. Otherwise, I thank you for watching. I appreciate you watching. If you could click the little heart or the little thumbs up or the subscribe or the follow, all these things help us out too. Thanks again.